right, y'all. We are back in the studio. I say we. I said this last time. I feel like I just had deja vu. But Tyler and I are in the studio. We had a little bit of, there was an update issue. We had to update camera stuff and a couple other things between the last show we had with Christine Fisher and this show. And apparently it changed some settings within our YouTube channel. And we got it fixed. And wanted to get back in here as soon as I could to do a show before we leave Sunday for the Albemarle Sound for the next Bassmaster Elite Tournament. Obviously, my cohort Brian is not here. He is getting ready to start Red Crest, which starts tomorrow, right, Tyler?
Maybe. I think it's Friday.
April 3rd. That's tomorrow. No, I know that's tomorrow. You know how I know tomorrow is April 3rd?
I thought it was the 4th.
No, I think it's 3rd.
Maybe the Expo starts the 4th.
I think it's, yeah, that'd probably be right. Expos usually start on Friday. So, good luck to Thrift, first of all. They're at Guntersville. I'm kind of jealous. They're probably smacking giants down there. Going to be. Guaranteed. That lake's been fishing off the hook for a while. But, yeah, Ryan said, let's hear about this big old gobbler Matt missed the show for yesterday. Matt didn't miss the show. We were here. We just couldn't get everything going, Ryan. And that being said, turkey season's not even in yet in North Carolina. But good news for me is it comes in tomorrow in South Carolina, and y'all know where I'll be. So don't try to call me in the morning between the hours of sunrise and noon. Sunrise and lunch. Between the hours of sunrise and lunch. Is that an actual?
I'll be sure to text you.
Yeah, well, you won't get a response. I don't have good service at where I'm going anyway. We youth season for North Carolina comes in this Saturday, April 5th. I plan on taking my youngest daughter, hopefully. And we got her a new little shotgun. Went by the Bass Pro Shops in Fort Mill, South Carolina, and picked her up a new little 410 a week or two ago, and she's been shooting it a couple times, still trying to get her adjusted to it, but hopefully we'll be ready to go come Saturday. And yeah, I'm pretty fired up about that. But on another note, y'all know Let's Talk Fish presented by English Choice Marine. And English Choice Marine, like year in, year out, they're top 1, 2 dealer in the nation for Ranger, Triton boats. Big White River Marine dealer. They got 3 locations. They do the nitros. They do the sun trackers. They do all the goods from White River Marine. The headquarters, the mothership there in Martinsville, Virginia. Lexington, North Carolina is another location, and Spindale, North Carolina, which is the 3rd location. So if you're in the market for a new boat, I said this last show. They've had a lot of incentives, a lot of good deals going on, especially if you can get lucky and stumble across a 2024. You know, that's still left over. I actually just sold my 2024 through English Choice of Spindale, North Carolina, and the guy who bought it was from, I think he's from Alabama, but he just picked it up today, and texted back and forth with him a little bit, and he was really, really, really excited to get that boat. All right, so let's dive right in. This show really is about classic takeaways from the Bassmaster Classic this year. I did not have a good finish at all. As a matter of fact, I've had one of the roughest starts to a professional tour season that I've ever had in my career. I had an 80th and a 75th to start the year in Florida, and then we rolled into the Classic and rocked us up a 40-something place finish. But, you know, the Classic is that tournament to where you go for one reason, and that's to win. And this is the truth. Like I told my wife, I said, I made the cut. I think I've made the day 3 cut the last 4 Classics in a row or whatever. And at Ray Roberts, you know, I had a good chance to win back in 2021 and ended up finishing 2nd. But then I had the rest of the cuts. I've never really been close enough to where I feel like there was a realistic possibility of winning the Classic on day 3, and that feeling sucks. Like going into the Classic on day 3 knowing you probably can't win, well, knowing you definitely can't win when you're behind 12 pounds on a lake like Loudon Tellico, or when you're behind 20 pounds on a lake like Ray Roberts, or whatever it is, it's a bad feeling. Like it's a really bad feeling. Like yes, the money's a little bit better, yada yada yada, but I don't want to go into a day 3 of a Classic without the potential or the actual possibility of winning the Classic, because that is, I promise you, that's all that matters to me and hopefully every other single competitor that's in the Classic. But regardless, it was a good Classic. Congrats to Easton for the win. Heck of a performance. Weighed in 70-something odd pounds, something like that. It was phenomenal. But yeah, Classic takeaways this year. The wind. Let me start off first by talking about the wind. I have never in my entire career, or my life for that matter, fished in wind and water like I did during practice at the Classic. The first day of the Classic was pretty bad too. But the Friday before our first day of our 3-day practice period, I was out there in 30 to 35 mile an hour sustained with gusts over 60 miles an hour. And it's not like up north. The wind blows up north, water gets rough. You can kind of run the troughs and navigate the water at a slow, safe speed, keep the nose up, things like that. Down there, dude, it's like a different kind of rough. Like the waves are closer together. They're inconsistent. It becomes really unsafe. And then you mix in the gusts that we had. Like, it was scary. So I was actually on the front of my boat on that Friday, and a gust of wind hit me. I was standing on the front of the boat making a cast, and a gust of wind hit me and actually picked me up. Not completely off my feet, but almost pushed me into the lake. Right then and there, I went back, grabbed my life jacket from the console, put my life jacket on, and never took it off the rest of the day during that practice. I also wore it during practice on that Wednesday, all day without taking it off. And that was very, very, very dangerous. The other thing about Ray Roberts is when you get in the timber, I had boat lanes, like on my graph. On my Lowrance, I had some boat lanes, actually, that I had purchased online through a public site. It's a guy down there. He puts boat lanes out for Lake Fork, Ray Roberts, a lot of different lakes, Toledo Bend, that have timber, and he put out boat lanes, and I purchased those boat lanes, and I loaded them onto my graph, and I had the boat lanes, but the problem with the boat lanes is you have to stay in them. They're pretty skinny on Ray Roberts in a lot of areas, and when you have the wind blowing 35 mile an hour in a certain direction and the boat lanes are doing right, left, straight, forward, whatever, you got to stay within that boat lane. Well, when you throw 4 and 5 foot waves in there, inconsistent waves, it makes it a really dangerous situation. So we were very limited to what we could do in practice. That being said, I tried to, put in at one ramp, take out, go put in another ramp, try to maximize my time or what time I had and try to be as efficient as I could as possible. Going into the tournament, I did not think I would get more than 5 to 7 bites a day. I got 5 the first day, lost 1. I got 5 the second day and lost 4. And not going to sit here and complain about lost fish. Everybody loses fish, but that's just part of it. I lost most of them on a jerkbait on day 2. Not enough to make a difference in having a shot at the win. Enough to make the cut to day 3, sure, but not enough to give me a shot at actually winning the Classic. So it was a tough Classic overall. The biggest thing about Ray Roberts is it does have some really big fish in it. The problem with that lake, and I'll stand by this unless somebody can prove otherwise, is it does not have a lot of bass in it. And when I say that, I'm comparing it to all the other lakes I fished in Texas, whether it's Fork or Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn or any of those lakes. It just doesn't have a lot of bass in it. And that's been proven time and time again. Like you talk about, you look at the local tournaments, like there's tons of guys that go in there during prime time. And we were there in March, like late March. Like it should have been off the chain. You should have been catching 20, 30 a day. And guys were fighting for 5 to 8 bites a day. I mean, the guys that were crushing them were catching 8 to 10, so it was not, it was very tricky and very challenging, which, I mean, I think that's the way a Classic should be. But it made it tough. It was super, super tough. And my approach was shallow rock piles, a lot of things that I had uncovered on Google Earth. And I had to fish a lot of them blind. I marked a lot of them to run during the tournament because I wasn't able to actually visit a lot of them during practice due to the conditions we had. But I always try to plan for the wind. And when you try to plan for a wind and it keeps switching on you, and when it switches, it blows just as hard out of the opposite direction, it's really, really hard to try to figure out and run a pattern. And that time of year, I like to run a pattern. And yes, I was using forward-facing sonar because I knew that's how the tournament would be won. That's how it was absolutely dominated. And, I was not able to efficiently uncover enough places that had the right caliber of fish on them. End of story. I just didn't get it done. And that's, you go to the Classic again. I go to the Classic with one goal, and that's to try to find the winning fish. And the thing about Classic practice is you're never satisfied, because if you're not on the fish to win the Classic, you're on fish to finish 10th or 15th or 20th or 30th or 40th or 50th. You're not satisfied. Because the Classic is that only tournament where points have nothing. They don't matter. And you want to take home that trophy, because that's what everybody wants is that trophy. The money's great, don't get me wrong, but that trophy is special. It is the pinnacle of our sport, and that trophy means more in this sport than any other trophy in the history of bass fishing. So hopefully we'll be back. We got a lot of work to do this year to get back in 2020 2026. God, that's weird to say. 2026 will be the next Bassmaster Classic.
Back in Knoxville.
Yeah, back in Knoxville, Tennessee. So they've announced that. I saw a lot of comments throughout social media and all kinds of things after the Classic talking about attendance and things like that. I unfortunately didn't make the cut to day 3, so I had to go to the expo. The expo was busting at the seams. It was wide open, as it always is. And the weigh-in, I will say I do feel like as a competitor and a fan and somebody that actually got to go to the final weigh-in, I did some commentating with Ronnie Moore on day 3 and got a pretty good look around the arena from where we were sitting up there. I do feel like the attendance was down, and if somebody told me otherwise, I'd have to call them a liar. I mean, I just would. But I think there's multiple variables. Multiple reasons for that. I think number one, what a lot of people didn't realize is the Dickies Arena was it 15 minutes roughly?
Yeah, I think it was about 15 minutes.
About 15 minutes from the expo. Okay, so that's number one. So number two is we had a well over an hour drive to get to Dickies Arena from the lake, which is very frustrating as an angler. And it took an hour and 10, hour and 20 minutes based on traffic in the afternoons. Now, we got there like in under an hour in the mornings, but it took well over an hour to get back. So what that caused is it caused the weigh-ins to start later, which was, I think they started after 5 o'clock each day, and they lasted till close to 8 o'clock at night. In the evenings on the weekends, people got to eat dinner. They usually got plans. So a lot of people probably were bailing early, not coming because they had other plans, so they went to the expo. And then a lot of people told me when they went over there, it was like $35 to park. Now, they had a shuttle running people from the expo if you wanted to go to the weigh-in. You could do that. You could take that route. Don't know how many shuttles they had running or how efficient it was or how quick it was or whatever. But if you drove over to the weigh-in, let's just say you didn't even go to the expo, you want to go to the weigh-in, it was $35 to park. So there's a lot of reasons I think that the weigh-in attendance was down. I saw people online blaming forward-facing sonar, which is kind of comical. I don't think everybody's just not going to a Bassmaster Classic weigh-in because FFS is legal. Whether you're a fan of it or not, I would still, as a fan, I would still go to the weigh-in to see the excitement and the show that they put on and big fish being brought into the stage and things like that. I mean, it's cool. Like, I love fishing. But yeah, the weigh-in was very, very long, very drug out. It did last 2.5, 3 hours, and I think that had a lot to do with why people didn't go sit over there for 3 hours after they'd been in the expo for hours or had other plans for dinner that night or were going out with friends or whatever it was. I mean, you're talking about a Friday and Saturday night too. So those are pretty big nights in Fort Worth. And Fort Worth, if you've never been to Fort Worth, there is a ton to do in Fort Worth. I mean, the stockyards is historic, and they have all kinds of activities and things like that, especially very family-friendly activities. So I think that was pulling in a lot of people. There's a million reasons why I think the weigh-in attendance was down. I don't remember in 2021 exactly how it compared. I'd love to see the numbers because I think logistically it was set up the same way. The expo might have actually been in a different location.
It was. I think it was a little closer.
It was a little bit closer, and it was outside too. Somebody told me it was outside.
Part of it was.
Part of it was outside.
Yeah.
God, but it was hot.
For the people that were outside in the I guess it's like the cattle barn tents.
Yep.
Yeah. Because they didn't have no air.
Scott Young got on here and said Dickies Arena parking is notoriously insanely priced. So there you go.
But I will say, like, as far as attendance goes, as from working the expo,
yeah,
it was packed.
So the expo was packed.
I couldn't leave hardly.
Yeah.
And if you did, you try to get around.
People are going to go to the expo. I mean, that's the largest freshwater fishing show in the U.S.
Oh yeah. And then, like you had said too, downtown Fort Worth after.
Yeah.
You couldn't go in a single restaurant or store that there wasn't a bass fishing fan wearing fishing apparel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like the town and everything. I mean, it was packed with people there just for the Classic.
Yep. So, I've seen several comments about that. But, yeah, I mean, Cody, Brian, Ryan, they all said that the weigh-ins took extremely long, very drug out. And man, it's I'm with you, Brian, man. I can sit there and really and trust me, y'all. I'm just as big a fan as I am a competitor of the sport, and I can sit there through a good hour and a half to 2 hours of a weigh-in. But after that, it's not just me that gets restless. My kids are there, they get restless. Like everybody gets restless after that, So I get it. Like I understand, and I do think that plays into a big. The great thing is the Classic next year in Knoxville, Lord willing, we're fishing it, not working it. Regardless, we'll be there. Like that place sets up really, really well. Everything's like a mile apart.
Not even that.
Yeah, not even a mile. So you can just like boom, boom, boom. You
It's
can
like
go to
within a
blast
block.
off. You can go to blast off. You can go straight over the expo. You can go straight over the way in. It's like a little triangle there, in downtown, right there on the river. So very, very cool situation for the Classic next year. All right, let's see. Yeah, that was so I don't know if anybody caught this. So Ryan said it's nice to see the college weigh-ins, but and I don't know the kid's name. I would never call it out if I did.
The winner?
Do what?
The winner?
The one that threw up all over the stage.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that. I don't even think it was live, and I don't know. Y'all viewers can tell me if you saw this, but poor kid, and I feel terrible for him. But Emily calls me, and she said, be careful when you go on stage. It was on day 2, I think. She said it might be a little slippery, and I'm like, and she was referring to, I guess it was a high school. I don't know if it's high school, college. They went up there and they weighed their fish there on the Classic stage in the arena. They had them come in, and they crowned the champions. And one of the kids, he was shaking. His voice was nervous. Emily said he was just tore out of frame. Like it was nerves. Like she thought it was nerves. He wasn't like sick. Like it was nerves. Like he was just so nervous he couldn't keep composure. And then all of a sudden, he was like swallowing and licking his lips and stuff, and then he started puking on stage, like on the stage, and it was due to his overexcitement,
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that was that's actually a good thing because that shows how passionate he is about it, right?
Exactly.
Like how much he cared about it, and but congrats to them regardless.
And the college champion, actually a buddy of mine, somebody Jeff knows. He introduced me to Anderson Jones. Congratulations.
Who's that?
Anderson
the
Jones.
college champion.
Yeah.
Okay, very cool.
He had the biggest bag to actually cross the Classic stage.
Yep. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. So the Bassmaster Classic and Ray Roberts, just to wrap it up, was the windiest one I've ever fished. Was one of the toughest ones I've ever fished, just to generate bites, and was probably one of the most frustrating practices I've ever had. Which at this level, you shouldn't let anything get you spun out. But it's the Classic. Like you want to win that tournament so bad you can't stand it. And when you've been close before, you want it even worse. But it was just hard to get things done in practice based on the weather. And that wind was absolutely relentless. Like the second day of the 3-day practice period, I think, was pretty decent. Or maybe it was the 3rd day. Anyway, we had 1 day of the 3-day practice period that was pretty decent. The first 2 days of the 3-day practice period was horrible. Wednesday was terrible. The first day of the tournament was pretty bad. But, yeah, that being said, it was those are my takeaways from the Bassmaster Classic. Again, shout out to the guys that caught them. I think that was a really tough nut to crack. It was the way it went down. A lot of guys had a good tournament. Pretty much everybody was scoping. John Cox wasn't, obviously. A lot of the other guys were, as far as that were in the top 10. Some guys were kind of 50-50. They'd scope some trees, maybe flip or cast the trees where they saw fish. Some were kind of beating the bank, fishing some shallow grass and other things like that. But yeah, it was dominated and won with forward facing sonar, which we all knew it would be going into that tournament. And yeah, that's how it went down. I think Easton has actually won. He won a collegiate tournament, the Fish Off, which was all FFS. He won 2 Bassmaster Opens, 100% dominated FFS, and now he's won the Classic. So as far as FFS is concerned, the kid's one of the best in the world at it, if not the best in the world at it. And I'll take that to the bank because, I mean, he's super composed. The other thing that was impressive about Easton is when you get to day 3 of the Bassmaster Classic, I don't care if you have a 100-pound lead or a 6-ounce lead. To be able to close it in your rookie year on the Bassmaster Elite Series, it's his second Classic, I believe, but it's his rookie year on the Bassmaster Elite Series. To be able to slam the door like that was impressive. Just to, like I said, FFS aside, techniques aside, whatever, to be able to keep his composure and to be able to close the door, especially catch an 8-pounder in the last whatever hour or two, and to slam the door, that was a very, very impressive performance. And you know, Easton's got a great story. I haven't talked to Easton much. I've talked to him a little bit, and he's just a very humble, down to earth kid. He really is, and he'll be a good Classic champion.
Was he the youngest to win it?
Was he 22?
I think.
You know what? I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like he is. Right?
If not, he's pretty close.
Pretty crazy to get to the final minute of the final day of the weigh-in of the Bassmaster Classic, and you see two kids standing up there that are 22 and 19 or 22 and 20. Yeah, that's pretty nuts. Like, I'm sitting up there commentating with Ronnie thinking, my gosh, I'm old. But it makes me work harder, man. I mean, they push you. You know, all the talent and the kids that are coming into this sport now, they really push you hard to become a better angler. But yeah, let's second youngest. So Jay Lee is still the youngest. So Cody, does that mean, let's see, was Jordan 21 or 22 and he beat him by a few months or something like that? I didn't realize Jordan won the Classic when he might have been 21 or 22 years old. Ryan Sowers corrected Cody and said Stanley Mitchell won it in 1981 when he was 21 years old. I had no idea. Boy, that would have been a good trivia question, Ryan. Unfortunately, we can't ask it.
Yeah.
CC said if we can improve the technology, we can have 12-year-olds winning the Classic in a few years. I added the in a few years, but yeah, he you ain't wrong there, CC. But because I know a lot of kids that are much better at video games than I am.
Oh yeah,
I never played video games growing up anyway. I sucked at video games. Like, the only thing that I knew when it came to video games, you remember Contra? You're probably too young to know Contra. You don't remember it. You remember original Nintendo, the original Nintendo?
Yeah.
So there was a game called Contra. All you 40-plus-year-olds know what I'm talking about. There was a game on there called Contra that I had a code that you could put in on your remote and get 30 lives instead of 3. And I could beat Contra with that code.
Cheat codes.
Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I swear this was the code. It was up, down, left, right, BA, select, start. That's pretty impressive. I still remember that, ain't it?
Yeah.
They give you 30 lives on the game Contra.
You need those for Space Invaders.
There it is. Look, Ryan knows. He said up, down. Oh, he said up, down, A, B, A, B. I think I'm right, Ryan. I feel like it's up, down, left, right, B, A, or A, B, select, start. Google that. Google that for me. Somebody let me know if I'm wrong. That should have been the trivia question. What was the code on Contra to get 30 lives on original Nintendo?
You need to figure it out for that one over there.
He said might be a different cheat code. That's true, Ryan. There might have been a bunch of Ryan Willis said he's 17. He knows what that game is. Well, that game came out. That's impressive, Ryan. Do they still have a Contra like on the new Nintendo stuff? But this is the OG Nintendo now. Yeah. Like Duck Hunt. We played Duck Hunt with the little gun. I played Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
They might have it on.
Here we go. Up, down, left, right, B, A, start. Oh, not select, start. Start. I think you had to hit select to get start highlighted on the game. So maybe that's why I said select, start. So I was right, I think. Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I haven't played that game in 30 years. So, but I still remember the code. If anybody needs the code, hit me up for 30 lives on Contra. Ryan said his dad played it. Now that does make me feel old. So his dad's probably, I don't know, he could be my age, could be a little older, something like that. But that's funny. Up, down. Here we go. Up, down, left, right, B, ace, and start. Yep, Rusty's got it. Yep, they know. These guys know. But between that and so there was a game on the original Nintendo, not to get sidetracked here, called Super Black Bass. Dude, it was a fishing game. It was hilarious. Like I wish you and I could sit down and play it, because you'd laugh, because the things they have now, like, it's not like. So if nobody knows, but the we have a stand-up arcade game over here in the corner of the studio. You can't see it, but it's Space Invaders. This is old school, but it's Space Invaders. And that I played it last night when we couldn't get the show running right, so I went over there and played Space Invaders, and that's a trip. That's a trip right there. St. Clair Eric said Stanley Mitchell, 21 years and 5 months, so he is the youngest Classic champ ever in the history of Bassmaster Classic. Oh, Ryan said his dad's 47. Well, he's a few years older than me. What is my wife's on here? What is she talking about? What's Oregon Trail? I know you don't know.
She's talking about the Oregon Trail?
Well, she's older than me. So, no, she's only 2 months older than me. I just tell her that all the time. She'll be yelling at me here in a minute in the comments. But,
yeah.
All right, let's see. We have the Albemarle Sound next. Brian's got Red Crest. We have got to go down to the Albemarle Sound and kick some butt.
Is it Pasquotank?
Pasquotank Wiver.
Pasquotank
Wiver. And it's funny I said it that way because when I was in kindergarten, I took speech classes because I couldn't say my R's.
It's coming back around.
It's coming back around. They say you get older, sometimes things reverse. But yeah, the Pasquotank River. The host city is Elizabeth City. We start practice on Monday, this coming Monday, and I am super, super excited about this tournament for many reasons. But this place has been talked up very highly by a lot of people that have fished there over the past 5 or 6 or 7 years. And it's hard to find any information online about it, but like when you do, like there's people holding up giants, like 6 to 8 pounders. And like I tried to find some tournament results searching online, and I did find 1 or 2 tournaments from last spring or spring before last, and there was like 30-pound bags, weighed in. Dude, it was insane.
I think it's one of those places where like everybody tried to keep it a hidden gem.
Yeah.
And it's getting ready
probably
to be exposed.
So much for that, right?
Yeah.
Like let Bassmaster go there and Fox Sports get a hold of it, and then the world will know. But again, it's kind of like people were telling me, "Hey man, are you excited about fishing in your home state this year?" I said, dude, that's 6.5 hours from my house. There's so many other lakes that I can be at much quicker, and I've never been there. Well, I have been to the coast multiple times. I've duck hunted in that general area. Like I've been down there duck hunting, Pamlico Sound area and things like that. Yeah, I've duck hunted there. But I've never been there. Never put my boat in there. So that being said, it's not like an easy destination to just go to. It's. I mean, it ain't far from the Outer Banks, dude. Like no. It's out there.
I know. I looked at coming out there, but I looked again. And I was like, that's a drive.
Yeah. Brandy, we will have access to the Chowan. So basically, the rivers, from my understanding, that will realistically be in play. This is based on the wind and the weather. We go out of Pasquotank River, which is Elizabeth City. We can access, I believe, the Alligator. Like realistically access the Roanoke, the Chowan, the Perquimans, and maybe there's a couple other little ones in there mixed in. But all those are going to be accessible. And, I mean, the system itself, I think all of it's pretty good. I've heard talk of giants being caught out of Chowan, giants being caught out of Alligator, giants being caught out of the Pasquotank, giants being caught out of the Roanoke. But again, I think the biggest factor in this tournament is going to be the wind. We're at the coast of North Carolina in the spring. Lord knows what's going to happen, but I'll promise you that the wind will play a factor. The Albemarle Sound, if you get, I'm assuming, an east wind blowing in off the ocean, I would think it wouldn't take much. Could be 10, 12, 15 mile an hour. You may not even be able to leave the Pasquotank River. Now, that would kind of suck. And here's why. Because the Pasquotank is, 10, 15 miles long of fishable water, 20 miles maybe. But if we're all piled in there, it kind of suck. You know what I mean? Like, so BPT was there. They were at the Chowan. They had some limits on where they couldn't go. All right, so I've seen some questions about Scott, and I know I've seen multiple questions on here about Scott, and a lot of people. I mean, it's pretty much out now about the situation that's going on. I'm not going to dive into detail about anything. There is no there is nothing that's been decided. Nothing been. There's no results to tell whether he's going to be there or not. That's yet to be determined. I do want to address something real quick though, and here's where I have a problem. Like, there's a situation going on with my roommate, and the general public. I'm not talking about y'all. There's a couple so basically, if something happens at Bass, let's say there was a protest filed, and that's what's happened against Scott. As at this point, that's pretty public knowledge. It's on several YouTube channels, mostly YouTube channels that just try to create drama to get clicks and make money. And bottom line, that's what they do. There is no light at the end of the tunnel yet. There's no decision been made, so we don't know where that stands. But what I want to address is Bassmaster has a protest, whatever it may be, from whoever it may be. They reach out to the angler. That conversation takes place between them and the angler. All right, whether there's a polygraph scheduled, whether there's a disqualification in the works, whether there's a punishment to be dished out, the first individuals that hear about that should be all of us at the same time. And there's people leaking information about situations before they should be doing that, because until you have, like, I should not hear about it. I shouldn't have to hear about it from a fellow angler on the Elite Series. I should hear about it from either Bassmaster when, a decision's been made and they release it to the public. But I have to hear about it through some silly YouTube channel, or I have to hear about it from some mutual friend that heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend who heard it from a friend. Well, this starts somewhere, and I don't know if it's within, Bass's organization. I don't know if it's within an insider. I don't know if it's within somebody that runs a social media page that has connections. But there's sometimes these situations need to stay confidential 1,000% until there's an actual decision, because what happens is social media snowballs, brush fires on social media start, and then they get out of hand, because then everybody forms an opinion and things are said that shouldn't be said. But regardless, there's a situation going on. There is no decision that's been made. There, in the next few days, something will come out about it. I do not know 100% if Scott will be attending the Pasquotank River event or not. That's all I know as of right now. It's a pretty fragile situation. But regardless, that's where I'm at with that. I don't have an issue with anything except for the people that leak this information out before anybody should ever hear about it. And I say nobody should hear about it until there is a decision there's been a decision made, because then people assume, and then people make assumptions, and then people make YouTube videos about it, and then people make and that's stupid. Like, there's nothing that, like, we have a podcast, and we started this podcast to help people become better anglers, to report on our tournament results, to tell you how we catch them, to tell you how we approach tournaments, to give giveaways on every single show, which, by the way, we're doing at the end of the show tonight, to have a good time, to joke around. Now, we've talked about controversial topics, but I've never tried to create a bunch of drama within the industry in order to get clicks and make money. I could take this channel and I can make it ginormous within a year, but I absolutely would be in trouble for multiple other reasons, whether it's defamation of people's character, talking crap behind people's back, whatever it is, just creating negative energy in order to get clicks and make money. And I have a problem with people that do that on social media. It's just not cool. Like, it's just not cool. It's not how I was raised, and it's not what I'm going to do. We're going to grow our channel with all you loyal fans and followers that want to learn more about how to catch more fish. Want to follow us on the BPT and the Bassmaster Elite Series and hear us give you lake breakdowns, how we catch fish, and report on kind of what's hot in the industry, what's not, what's going on. And I promise you, I will never make any assumptions or talk bad about anybody on here until I have absolute facts in front of me. End of story. I won't do it. All right. Next topic, Tyler. It is 7:36, but we're gonna. Let's see. I'm just now catching up on the comments, but yeah. Tyler, you got anything? Oh, by the way,
I agree with your wife on her last comment.
What was her last comment?
Social media takes everything to the extreme, unfortunately.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Takes it next level. And, dude, there's so many people out there that sit behind their keyboard and just, man, they just waiting to pounce, dude. They just sitting there like a cat waiting to pounce. Where can I make the next negative comment? And I always say this, like, if you go to Major League Fishing or Bassmaster or whatever, like these big organizations that support the professional level tournaments, and you go onto one of their pages, whether it's about Easton Fothergill winning the Classic, and there's 1,000 comments and a lot of negativity, right? A lot of negativity. But the majority of the people, like, I'm sitting back and, like, you know, congrats to Easton and tell him congratulations, whether I post it on his page or Bass's page or whatever. Like, I say, congrats, man, good job, you deserve it, whatever, and go on, right? But most people won't do that. Like, if you have something positive say, like, we just kind of just roll with everything because we agree with it, and that's just human nature, right? Like, unless you're standing there in front of me, then I might say something to you. But if you got something negative say, people want to get on here and type it. They want to get on here, hide behind their keyboard and type it. They want to put it out there. The majority of the comments that you see are negative because those are the people that take the time to write stuff. Obviously, they have nothing better to do. Now, there are lots of good topics to debate, whether it's through social media, online, whatever, you know, message boards, whatever it is. Lots of good topics to constructively debate about, right? But there's a lot of crap out there, too. And it just gets old after a while, dude.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It just gets old. Like,
I put out a little video on one of my pages the other day. It's like, especially in our sport, like, that's all you see here lately. Negativity,
Yep.
negative. That's all people want to talk about. Like, let's try something new. Let's try positivity.
Yep.
Like, if people want to talk about our sport and where it's going. Is it going up? Is it going down? Well, as much negativity as we're bringing onto it ourselves, how is it going to go up? People ain't going to want to be a part of that. So
100%.
we need to start a new trend of positivity so we can grow it up.
Yeah.
And not the opposite way.
Yep. Yep. All right, so we're Ryan said I look like a guy that might have had a pager back in the day. I did not have a pager, by the way.
I can see that.
100% did not have a pager. I had a little flip phone, was my first actual cell phone. But all right, so T2 says he's got a BFL 2 weeks on High Rock. Well, good luck to you.
Should be a good one.
Buddy, our friend Buddy's on here, said jealousy is a factor in all the drama and backstabbing, and take that same energy and try to do what the elite anglers have done to get where they are, period. And that's a good statement, Buddy. Like, I see a lot of, you know, regardless of what people do, there's just a lot of this in the industry. And in every sport, but it's really bad in fishing. Like, guys that are super successful, there's like certain people and individuals that have their guard up immediately. Like, they're jealous. That's all there is. Like, people are jealous, and I'm not talking about anybody in particular. It's just the way of the world. Like, be happy for people. Like, shake their hand, give them a pat on the back. Somebody does good, just because you don't agree with how they got there or how they did it. If Easton Fothergill goes and wins the Classic with forward-facing sonar, go up there and shake his hand and tell him good job. Don't bash the kid. Especially don't bash the kid. Like, that's one thing I had a problem with. Like, comments like, if you're against forward-facing sonar, cool, whatever. Like, I'm not a huge fan of it either. Everybody knows that. But that's beside the point. Like, the kid just won the Classic. You know what I mean? We all had the same tool, and he outplayed us with forward-facing sonar, you know, and won the Bassmaster Classic. He did better than the rest of us in a story, and he deserved it. He 100% deserved it. All right, we got a trivia question at the end of the show. Don't worry. It is sponsored by Angler's Choice Marine, and it will be a heavy duty weigh-in bag. You see it there. Angler's Choice on the front, Mercury on the back. That's for all you guys and gals that weigh in them 35-pound bags. You can't bust these suckers. You ever had a 30-pound bag in one of them bags?
No.
Me neither. Don't feel bad. I don't remember the last time I caught it. I don't know if I've ever caught I've never caught one in a tournament. Never caught a 30-pound bag in a tournament. I'm trying to think if I've ever caught one fun fishing. Nope, pretty sure I hadn't.
Yeah, I don't think.
Pretty sure I hadn't.
I don't think we live in those areas, Matt.
Yep. We just don't live. That's right. We live in North Carolina. Like 30 pounds here, I'd have to go to like 5 different lakes to put together 30 pounds.
Like 20 pounds here is
I did text you the other day, though. I was out at Moss, and I text Tyler and Buddy, two of my good friends that fish out at Moss all the time. And I got out there, and I immediately started.
That was depressing, by the way.
Well,
for me,
I didn't get to 25 pounds. But it's been crazy because in the wintertime, I had 2 bags over 20 in January. And then I went out yesterday. Now, the 2 bags in January were forward-facing sonar. But yesterday I went out, took that lunker hunt and fetch swim bait, and I had 3 big ones and a decent one like before 9 o'clock, 9:30, before 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever it was. I texted you. And sent Tyler and Buddy a couple pictures of some big ones I just caught on the fetch, slinging that swim bait around up shallow. And I kept fishing throughout the day. It got a little tougher later, and I actually had to sight fish up a few, but I ended up having like right at 21 pounds. But I text Tyler and Buddy. I said, I'm getting 25 on Moss today. I've never broke 25 on Moss. I've had 23, 22, 21, but I've never got to 25 on Moss, not in a day of fishing. And I'm like, I'm going to get to 25 on Moss. And I never made it. I was disappointed. But now I had to leave. In my defense, I had to leave at 1:30. I did see one that would get me to 25, chase my swim bait up. And I think it might have come off of a deep bed, but I couldn't see it. And I didn't want to be like turning my scout mode on and trying to, it was too time consuming, dude. I was trying to cover water.
I'm going to go try to catch it Saturday.
I'll tell you where it is, or where it was. Probably won't be there Saturday.
Probably not.
Are you fishing the Thursday? No, wait, what's today? Oh, it's Wednesday. Yeah. You fishing tomorrow night?
Are they starting it?
Yeah, it starts tomorrow night. You didn't know that?
I hadn't seen them post that he did.
The Moss Lake Thursday Nighters. There was a post like 2 weeks ago that said first tournament will be April 3rd.
No, he said that he was planning on it, but he would make a post to confirm it, and I hadn't seen that post.
No, he said, if you don't hear from me, and I'm 99% sure it's starting tomorrow night. But his number's on there, so you better text him, but I'm 99% sure they're starting the Thursday Nighters at Moss tomorrow night. So our local lake here has a...
I might be there.
Yeah, anyway. All right.
If not, I'll be there next week for sure.
Yeah. All right. Who's running the Thursday Nighters? Brian Branch, our buddy, just asked us. Brian, it is Mike's cohort from last year, Austin, from Angler's Choice. Angler's Choice is still running the Thursday Nighters. They're still going to sponsor the Thursday Nighters. And shout out to Angler's Choice for doing that because they're carrying on a 30-year tradition.
It's not until next week.
Oh, Buddy said it won't be until next week. Oh, okay. All right. Well, interesting. Well, that's good to know. I thought it was starting tomorrow. Yeah, Patrick, it is about time to chase turkey. Matter of fact, I'll be headed there in the morning to South Carolina. Rusty, you hit the nail on the head, man. The bashing doesn't do anyone any good. Anglers got DQ'd, and that is their punishment. The problem is social media keeps the theme going and just never goes away for weeks and weeks. Yep, you're 1,000% right, Rusty. And that is the sad part. I say that with everything. Just this day and age, it's the media, dude. The media is our own worst enemy. It has been for years, and it continues to get worse. Now, there's a lot of positivity on social media, but unfortunately, that's not what garners the views and the clicks and the money for people. But there's a lot of really nice things, and it's funny because I get on my Instagram, and our social media pages, platforms, whatever, they trend to things that we watch more and more. And I've tried to watch funny videos. Obviously, a lot of hunting videos pop up on my feed, and some pickleball. I'm not gonna lie, it's pickleball. Tyler's laughing. Oh, you're smiling. You're not
probably
laughing.
A lot of pickleball.
Yeah, a lot of pickleball videos, but it's all positive. Like I try to stay all positive. Like the negative stuff, I try to keep it out of my feed. And the more you look at positive stuff, the more that stuff gets weeded out. Now the algorithm still throws things in there that has gigantic view numbers and impression numbers, and unfortunately, sometimes that's negative things. But that's that's neither here nor there. That's just the way. That's just the world we live in. Jeremy, thanks for the good luck, man, on the next event. Ryan, the birds in North Carolina, we're only allowed 2 in North Carolina, and in South Carolina. So South Carolina changed their laws this year to where you can only kill 2 birds in South Carolina. You cannot kill a jake, period, which I don't shoot jakes, but I don't like that from a kid perspective. If you take a kid and it's their first time hunting, they're not allowed to shoot a jake either, which I think kind of sucks for that situation, 100%. So there's only a 2-bird limit for South Carolina also. But Michigan, you're only allowed 1. That's tough. I mean, obviously they're doing what they think's best for the population, but our limits in South Carolina have continued to drop for years now. It used to be 5 years ago, which that might have been part of the problem. They were whacking them down there years ago. And then it went to 3, and then it went to 2. And now you can't shoot jakes, and the season's a little bit shorter, and it's unified across the state when it used to have different opening days. Yeah, bottom line outdoors, I 100% agree with that. Like, disagreement or opposing views isn't negative. It's how you approach it, how you type it, how you portray yourself, how you if we're talking in person, it's your delivery, you know, kind of how you say things. We have a sport where everyone has to agree with their viewpoint. Well, that's every sport, to be honest with you. Like, people, that's just how people are. Like, there's certain people that if you don't agree with me, you're an idiot, or if you don't agree with me, then you're wrong, or whatever it is. But I can 100%. I mean, here's the thing. Like, if we're talking about, you know, whatever it is, like, I try to see both sides all the time. And as far as our industry is concerned, I'll give you my opinion, but I'm going to respect yours too. And we're going to have a civil conversation about it. When you're not face to face, that's why I hate having conversations. I don't even like having conversations through text that might entail something of somewhat of a disagreement or a conflict or whatever it is, because people can't see your tone. They can't read you. They don't understand, like, your delivery. They don't understand where you're coming from. And that's why I think, like, I used to sell boats back in the day, and when somebody would walk in, I felt 100% confident in being able to talk to them face to face and getting my points across and being able to relate to them better and things like that. When I had to make a call on the phone, dude, it sucked. I felt like it was hopeless, you know. But people are very more likely to get into a dispute, a violent dispute, verbally violent, when they're not face to face, which again is kind of piss poor, for lack of a better term. All right, we Ryan's killing me with turkey hunting questions, and I just want to talk turkey hunting and nothing else. But I'll try to stay away. Man, Ryan, I do have to use that turkey nugget recipe I got from you. I do need to do that. So after the Albemarle Sound, the MPFL actually goes to Lake Norman, which is relatively close to the house.
Might go check that out.
So yeah, you didn't know this, but I'll cook for him at least a couple nights. But we might have a cookout one night, and you're more welcome to come over. But we Scott Canterbury and Scott Suggs, obviously buddies of mine, Canterbury, my roommate, and they are actually going to be staying with me during the MPFL at Lake Norman, and that's in between our Albemarle Sound event and our next elite event, which is Lake Hartwell, which is in South Carolina, just down the road here from the house, about an hour and 45 minutes. So that's going to be a lot of fun that week. It will be turkey season, so I may be MIA up until the afternoon hours when I have to pick up the girls from school. But yeah, should be a good time over the next few weeks. Preferred calls. I don't even carry a box. I hunt mostly woods. I usually, I carry two different. I carry a couple pot calls, one slate, one glass. I carry about a half a dozen mouth calls also, and actually Cabela's has got some diaphragm calls that I got to use in last year, and they're relatively cheap. I mean, they don't cost much at all, and they're really, really good quality calls. I've used some of the Woodhaven stuff in the past, and then I've used a variety of mouth calls in the past. But the Cabela's mouth calls I've actually been really, really impressed with so far. So I carry a couple pot calls, and then about a half a dozen diaphragm calls when I go. Diaphragm, which is mouth calls for those that don't turkey hunt. Yeah, I'm gonna. I got to do that, Ryan. I got to do that turkey nugget recipe, man. I'll tell you what. I got hooked on a deal. Any of you out there that like to fry fish or turkey nuggets or whatever, I don't use a turkey toter, Ryan. I use my hands. If that's what you're referring to, the strap that you strap around their feet or whatever. But Bass Pro. So Uncle Buck's brand from Bass Pro Shops has a fish batter, and they have a. Have you had it?
No.
Okay. Have you had the Cajun, the hot and spicy?
No,
dude.
I hadn't seen. I hadn't never.
Now I love hot stuff.
I never paid attention to see that one.
I love hot stuff, and it's really not that spicy, but it's perfect. Like, gosh, it's good. And like now, I'll soak mine. Like I'll get them ready. I'll soak them in buttermilk for about 30 minutes or so, and then I'll roll them in that. Now this is like crappy fillets and stuff, but I think I'm going to try that Uncle Buck's Cajun batter on some turkey nuggets too. It is super good, super good. No, I didn't say like a real man, Ryan. I just said I use my hands to carry my turkey out instead of a turkey toter. But yeah, you're probably right. I probably need to get one. Try that in a frying saucer. Need to try that. 100%. Ryan, I'm going to look for that turkey nugget recipe, and I'm going to cry if I don't have it. I think you messaged it to the LTF inbox on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken. I'll double check. But if I lost it, I might hit you back up. Canterbury going to have to get his North Carolina hunting license. Have McCoy film it. Yeah. Buddy said that. Well, the thing about Canterbury is he's going to be coming from the Albemarle Sound. We're going to be coming from the Albemarle Sound back to Shelby. And he starts practice for the MPFL on either Sunday or Monday.
I think it's Sunday. I think
Is
they
it
start
Sunday?
on Sunday.
So he could potentially miss the first day of practice. Yeah. So he's going to fish Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then we have to go to Hartwell. I think it's Sunday morning. No, but I'm not going to Hartwell Sunday because that's Easter Sunday, I think. I'm going to actually go. Yeah, that kind of stinks. A lot of guys are going to have to travel on Easter Sunday. But I'm actually going to go because Hartwell's an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm going to stay in my bed on Sunday night. Practice starts on Monday morning, that next Monday morning after the MPFL.
Just drive down early.
I'm going to get up at like 4:30 and just drive down. Yeah, no biggie. I mean, I've done that plenty of times, especially going hunting. So, Scott, let me tell you something about House Autry. I did use House Autry for years. Used Louisiana, and I used House Autry for years, and House Autry's good, especially their chicken fry, the crispy chicken batter, whatever it's called, chicken fry, whatever it's called. But, dude, I went to using this Uncle Buck's. I'm talking about for fish now, and I got hooked on this Uncle Buck's. If you hadn't tried it, give it a try. I think you'll like it. But, yeah, okay, cool, Ryan. He said he did message me the recipe. All right, so we're going to wrap this show up with a trivia question. I know it's a little bit before 8 o'clock, but I got to get in bed early, man. 4:30 comes early. And I got to be there before sunrise because I got a pretty good walk back into this property. And I need to be back there when it's still dark, Tyler. Make sure I'm situated at my listening spot. Got a little ridge.
Just early enough to take
got a little ridge
nap.
pen down there on the lease where I can go back and listen to them. It's about maybe a half a mile, 3/4 mile walk. Not too bad. But yeah, no, Scott, you're right, dude. Shore Lunch batter. That's one I haven't tried, Ryan. I think that's like a really popular northern brand.
So.
Shore Lunch,
I think so.
Like maybe upper Midwest, things like that. But I've heard good things about that. I've never tried that, and I'm open to try all kinds of new different batters. But I need to try the Shore Lunch. I swear I think there was a pro angler. It might have been Mike McClellan is ringing a bell to me.
Yes.
Was sponsored by them.
Yeah, I think Mike McClellan was.
I think, yeah. So, I have to check that out. I have to order some because our local grocery stores and stuff don't sell that around here as far as I know. So I have to order some online, but I'm sure I can get a hold of some. All right. Tyler, you ready for this trivia question?
I don't remember the answer.
Well, come over here. Let me show you the answer. That's the answer. Now, I got this answer from somebody that works at Bassmaster. So if it's wrong, I'm going with whoever answers this right here. I'm not changing the winner, but if it's wrong, it's not my fault for once. All right. Again, trivia question night sponsored by our presenting sponsor, which is Angler's Choice Marine. Heavy duty weigh-in bag, all right, and an Angler's Choice hat. And you're going to send us a message, whoever wins, send us a message to our Facebook page, Let's Talk Fish Facebook page, with your shipping information, and we'll get it out to you ASAP. It'll come directly from Angler's Choice. All right. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Guys, gals, we can't thank you enough for the support. Again, we're not a podcast or a show that gets on here and tries to, create as much drama as we can and spread negativity and things like that. We always try to stay positive and have a good time. And we enjoy hearing from y'all, and that's the reason we do it. And we're on here to give tips and help everybody with tips to catch more fish. We might even talk a little bit of hunting if we're allowed. Well, we're allowed when Brian's not here. Brian always yells at me for talking about hunting. Give you updates on the latest in the industry, talk about our elite tournaments, our BPT tournaments, and just have a good time. But again, appreciate y'all. We're going to jump right into our trivia question. You ready, Tyler?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. First person that comes across my feed and Tyler's feed with the correct answer wins a heavy-duty weigh-in bag from Angler's Choice Marine and a hat. Again, send us a message if you win on our Facebook page with your shipping information, and Angler's Choice will get it out to you ASAP. All right, I need to know the average age of the Bassmaster Classic competitor in 2025. So at the 2025 Bassmaster Classic in Ray Roberts, Fort Worth, Texas, what was the average age of the competitor? Ooh, already got it. Wow, that was fast. God, that was fast.
Yep.
Brian Branch, right?
Yep.
Brian Branch, you are the El Champion. It is 32. It is 32. Sorry, I see several others. Oh, you know what's funny? I start getting comments from people that haven't commented the whole show. They just been waiting for the trivia question. Yeah. I see y'all. But no,
I
it's
see
all
Kevin
good.
Dellinger in there.
We appreciate y'all listening, man. We really do. Big shout out to everybody that tunes into the show. Again, this show will go to our YouTube channel. It will be under the live. It'll also be archived under the videos. McCoy's doing a little bit of post-show editing for us, so there won't be much dead airtime in the front of the video. You'll see a cute little thumbnail that McCoy's creating for us, and also it will go to all the podcast platforms on iTunes and things like that. So, Brian, you are the champion. Send me your shipping information so we can get this weigh-in bag and this hat out to you ASAP, man. Congrats to you, buddy. All right, y'all, appreciate y'all tuning in. Ryan, is that true? 4 years watching and I've yet to win a trivia. Is there a booby tries for trivia? Ryan, you have watched. You have been a loyal fan and a follower of the show, and I'm a man of my word. I don't know what we're going to do yet, but you have been here since day one, and we're going to get you something. All right. Again, be patient. Might not be in the next couple weeks because I'll be traveling. You know, the league season's crazy, but I'm going to get you something, buddy, because we appreciate you. But we're going to get you something. All right. Well, that's it. Tyler, you got anything to add? You didn't get to talk very much.
You're here. Nobody gets to talk very much when you're talking.
Is that what it is? Is that I like that emoji? Otter cat. I like that emoji. All right. Well, when we can't go fishing, we go turkey hunting. No, I'm kidding. When we can't go fishing, we're gonna sit right here and talk fish. See y'all next time.